Welcome to Ahead Americas 2020, the latest in our award series celebrating the best in hospitality experience and design across the world. I'm Guy Dietrich, Editor-at-Large of Sleeper, and I'll be your host today as we take our usual live event online in response to the coronavirus. Over the next few hours, we'll be speaking with members of our judging panel to look at the trends that emerged in the course of their deliberations, before revealing the winners they selected in our various categories. So, before we find out those first winners, here's Matt Turner, Editor-in-Chief of Sleeper, for a conversation looking at the conversion category. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you very much indeed, Guy, and welcome to all our viewers to this, the first head-to-head conversation for the Ahead Americas 2020 Awards. This is the first of 4 talks that will be running over the next few hours, if you're watching this in real time, in between our announcements of this year's Ahead Award winners. We introduced these sessions last year in real life, and we're now thrilled to be pivoting to digital with them for the very first time. So we've broken this down into 4 online presentations, mini award ceremonies if you like, with gaps in between so that you can dip in and out throughout the working day. As we announce the awards, we'll also be hearing from our sponsors and winners in person as we zoom around the Americas. So the first set of results will be coming up shortly. Don't go anywhere. But in the meantime, we're delighted to be joined by 3 prestigious members of our judging panel. They're going to be offering some insights into the projects that made our shortlist and also the wider themes, trends and topics they identified. But before we do so, I'd also like to say a huge thanks on behalf of Sleeper to the sponsors that have made this virtual event possible and whose adverts you'll be seeing at various points throughout the presentation. Thanks, of course, also to our panelists for joining us. So if I could now ask you briefly to introduce yourselves, we'll get stuck right in.
Hi, my name is Chad Oppenheim. I'm the principal of Oppenheim Architecture with offices in Miami and Basel, Switzerland.
Jason Seidman, I'm a founding member and managing partner of Sandstone, which is a company umbrella basically covering a lot of boutique hotel development projects throughout the United States, specifically in the southern United States right now. I am currently in lockdown in New Orleans, Louisiana, at my home.
Verena Haller, Chief Design Officer at the Standard Hotels in New York, and lockdown in New York, in the middle of it, Manhattan Midtown.
So the topic that we're here to dive into in a little more detail is the conversion conversation. The reason that we kind of chose that topic was partly that this year's conversion category really jumped out to me as one of the strongest shortlists that we've ever had. I think from my point of view, any of the projects on that list could have been a worthy winner in its own right, but perhaps I could just kick off by asking you, what were the highlights for you? Maybe you'd like to start on that, Jason.
Yeah, some of the highlights for me, essentially, were basically projects that had kind of an adaptive or essentially a restoration aspect to the project, something that ultimately gave a nice glimpse of the past and ultimately, was kind of a smart modification of that existing product and ultimately giving it a nice trajectory for the future.
Were there any that particularly jumped out at you as being a great example of how to take an existing property and reinvent it, reimagine it?
Maison de la Luz, I believe, was a great example. There were actually a handful of projects. Sister City, I thought, was actually very well represented in terms of the neighborhood context and, of course, also the project itself as it relates to the history of the building and marrying kind of the old with the new. And yeah, I think between the two of those, I think there was also, of course, the Shinola Hotel in Detroit, I think was badass and completely a great example once again of taking something very historic and breathing life back into it. So those are kind of the ones that jumped out at me.
I guess I have a partialness towards the Shinola because I had went there last summer with my son on a cross-country road trip, and it was, really well done. I think for me, all this is about creating a sense of feeling and emotion, and it's not about design. It's really about what the experience is. And, just walking into that corner restaurant was really magical, and people looked like they were enjoying themselves. The design was not too pretentious or in your face, and it just really felt great. So
Sister City here in New York, definitely one of my favorites, I would say. It just encompasses that kind of warm modernism. It's combined with the technology, which is really at the forefront right now. And I think especially the phase we're going through right now and coming out of it, hopefully better than before, it's definitely a way to look at. And I think the way it was integrated there is absolutely fabulous. It has a lot of character and warmth, and you feel the history as well, even though it has been, redone.
I think from my point of view, another that is worthy of mention was Escondido from Grupo Habitat. I think, it came up during the judging that these guys really just knock it out of the park every time in terms of the designers that they choose to work with, the properties that they identify, the different kind of responses and reactions that they come up with.
That was a really magical place, very sublime. And I think the scale of it was very interesting as well. It had I love those types of hotels that are very intimate, very small. And as you said, given where we are today with the pandemic, probably places that you would still feel comfortable going to. But that had a lot of magic, really beautiful sense of place as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things I found interesting about Sister City and Escondido in particular was that both of those were taking a kind of small historic building and plugging the public areas into that smaller historic space, but then creating an additional new build element, which I think in both cases houses the bedrooms. Do you think we're seeing more of that kind of hybrid property where you've got character of the old but combined with the positive side of something new?
We don't want necessarily only new built high rises. It's really interesting if you are able to combine both, and that in a really thoughtful manner. I think that's probably architecturally also the challenge, which I'm sure Jack can probably speak much more to it.
Yeah, I think it's about dealing with these things with a sensitive hand and being, really understanding of what each can offer. So I think that's definitely a typology that is intriguing. It's challenging, as Verena had said, to kind of let the spirit of the building shine through and not do too much and not do too little. So it's a very delicate balance, but in the right hands, like the architects of the projects that we've seen and the designers, I think they were really well accomplished.
At the end of the day, it's about storytelling for me. And I think that's kind of the beauty of, I guess you could say, appreciating the built environment and taking a look at the existing supply that's out there. It's telling that story, it's connecting it to the past. And I think adding a modern twist, and that doesn't have to mean through the proper architecture of an extension to the building or things like that. Although I love that stuff, it also could just come through in the form of just adding a new palette of color, adding new details, new fabrics, textiles, things that might be less period and more, I guess you could say, modern. I think that's where a lot of these projects evidence themselves in telling those stories, and also looking forward, right? Looking forward to the future, pre-pandemic future, and then now this post-pandemic future as to what that will feel like, especially in the hospitality industry.
We really love working with something historical that's worth saving. I think one of the challenges sometimes is that people want to change everything, and they don't want to let the sort of character of the space shine through. Other opportunities, new build is probably the easiest in terms of getting what you want, but the most challenging in that you're starting with a white sheet of paper or a blank computer screen, and so I could see the opportunities, but you need the great bones, and you need to find that you have to have the talent like Verena and Jason have to kind of find the opportunities that people overlook. And I think the character of these buildings are really important.
Even 3 months ago, from my point of view, looked rich and warm and inviting and cozy and comfortable. Now I'm looking at some of them thinking, that's a lot of places for germs to hide, or that's, that would collect a lot of dust. Do you think that this is going to prompt, I don't know, dare I say, a return to minimalism? Do you think that you'll find suddenly the new build will become more attractive than the conversion, not because it's got lots of character, but because it's clean and it's hygienic and it's new.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm dealing with this right now with all of my hotel projects. We're about to reopen, or we have reopened in some form or fashion. And I have basically looked at every one of my guest rooms and said, let's get it all out. Let's take it all out. I want nothing in here. I want a bed. I want the guests to know that this place is sanitary, clean. I mean, where can germs hide? Minimalism with some warmth to it. And that can be, communicated through color and other.
I do think that there's, thinking about hospitals, obviously not the horrible sterile quality of them, but the material selections, even the way that we move through space, where, this idea that everyone always wanted. I remember hearing like Bill Gates had in his house where he walked into a room and the lighting went to the way he wanted and the music went. But this idea of tying in with smartphones or RFID or, doors opening, instead of kind of electric opening, like the door to your room might open, completely open automatically and not touching things. And I think these touchless environments are going to be important in not only hospitality, but in the workplace as well. So I think there's a lot of unique opportunities to kind of see how these things can work together. But as Verena said, it's all about the experience. No one's going to a hospitality project for a lackluster experience. People want to enjoy themselves. That's never going to change. And I think that's really fundamental, is tapping into what as humans we desire and that are always fixed. And that's about community and society, but also it's about comfort and feeling good, and that's not going to change. So it's just the way how we can kind of rethink that opportunity.
That's our time up, and it's a perfect note to end on. So thank you all once again for sharing your thoughts. Thank you all for being a part of the judging process. Thanks for all your support of everything that we do with AHEAD. And it's now time to find out our first set of winners. So I'll hand back over to Guy, and thank you all very much.
We don't do it alone. And we don't care where the ideas come from. We just want to be part of it.
We create our designs to support people in their lives, to make them feel comfortable, more creative. People can rest.
It's not just a job to me, it's not just work. I breathe design.
Design is not something that we do, it's something that we are. It's how we see our life, how we see the world, and how we challenge our environment.
Hello and welcome back to the AHEAD Americas Awards 2020 online ceremony. Thanks there to Matt and our judges for their views on some of the categories for whom trophies will be revealed in this first section of this year's awards. Sleeper Magazine and AHEAD are totally committed to celebrating the very best in hospitality experience and design across the Americas. And this year, we have had over 200 entries representing some 111 different hotels in 16 different countries. Thanks to all of you who entered. From those, 41 projects made it onto our shortlist, and now we're about to reveal the winners across 17 categories. Those winners have been selected by our judges, an independent panel of experts comprising leading hospitality architects, designers, owners, operators, and developers from across the region. They met virtually a few weeks ago to assess, debate, and deliberate over our shortlisted projects before deciding the ultimate winners. Any judge with a conflict of interest was not involved in the discussion or voting surrounding that particular project. Impartiality is paramount. We take this opportunity to thank our judges for their time and enthusiasm during the course of this judging. We are now ready to announce the winners for our first 4 awards. But first, here's a look at how our beautiful trophies are created. Just before we reveal the first of our recipients, please get social by using one of these hashtags. @AheadAwards, #AheadAmericas, #GoodTimesAhead. So good luck to all the designers, owners, operators of this year's shortlisted projects as we reveal and celebrate the winning designs in Ahead Americas 2020. Let's get this show on the road with our first category, which recognizes the best restoration or refurbishment of an existing hotel. It's sponsored by global founder sponsor Grohe, and here come the contenders. 1 Hotel West Hollywood, Los Angeles. Graduate New Haven, near the Yale campus in Connecticut. Maunalani, Hawaii. And Miraval, Austin. Here, the judges admired the beautiful design and a joyful use of locally inspired materials and vibrant colors. We welcome Grohe's Bob Downey to announce the winner.
And the winner is Maunalani. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Maunalani. This Auberge Resorts property has been brought up to date by Maya Davis with a clever reimagination that still references the locality. Expansive open spaces have become more welcoming and intimate, and the guest room redesign keeps stunning views center stage.
Thank you, Ahead Awards, for this amazing honor for the Maunalani Resort for Auberge. We at Meyer Davis are so honored to be acknowledged for this award. Our team worked so hard. Svetlana, Alexis, Rebecca, Stephanie, Tyler, and every one of you. Also, special thanks to Auberge with Kemper and Craig and John and the whole gang there. Prospect Hill, we're so grateful. Thank you, Greg and Sally, Pat Fitzgerald. And also we have to thank Hart Howerton for their master planning and landscape design. We love working with you all. And a final thanks to the jury and everyone at the Ahead Awards for recognizing us for this, to bring greatness to such a beautiful property and special, special land at Maunalani. Mahalo.
Hotel renovation and restoration winner, Maunalani, Hawaii. Our next award is for Spa and Wellness. It's sponsored by Villeroy & Boch, and here the shortlist is Equinox Hudson Yards Club and Spa, New York. Sensai Lanai, a 4 Seasons resort, Hawaii. Spa at Yellowstone Club, Big Sky. And Spa Botanico at Dorado Beach, a Ritz-Carlton Reserve, Puerto Rico. What wouldn't you give for a spa day at any of those right now? The winner was beautifully detailed, perfectly executed, unique and original, according to our judges. To tell us which takes the trophy, from Villeroy & Boch, Konstantin van Boch. Welcome, Konstantin.
And the winner is Equinox Hudson Yards. Congratulations.
The renowned fitness brand brings a cool urban vibe for its spa and wellness facilities at the Equinox Hudson Yards. Joyce Wang Studio delivers for developer related with a series of strong mood-enhancing architectural spaces.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Joyce Wang from Joyce Wang Studio. On behalf of our London and Hong Kong teams, we are super excited to be the winners of the Spa and Wellness category of the Ahead Americas Awards 2020. I also want to thank the Equinox team.
Hi, Aaron Richter here, SVP of Design for Equinox Brands. I want to thank Ahead for recognizing Equinox Hudson Yards and the Spa by Equinox Hotels. I want to thank our amazing design team, in particular the Joyce Wang Studio. It's been an absolute privilege and honor to collaborate with her and her team on this project. Be well all.
Spa and Wellness winner, Equinox Hudson Yards Club and Spa. Congratulations to Joyce Wang Studio.
We like to look each other in the eye and extend a welcoming hand. We like to chat, even if it's just about the weather or yesterday's game. And the sun. We love the sun. We like to celebrate life and its wonders. We like to transform ideas into reality, and we like it even more if it brings a smile. We like to be at the forefront, but we'd never switch a conversation for technology. We like to acknowledge that we're all uniquely different and our needs are not the same. We like design, if design makes life easier. We like order and also like to throw it all up in the air sometimes. And think to the future, thinking of others, those who are near and afar. We like to remember that most significant things are built together as a family. But what we like most of all is to be by your side. That's why we've always been there, the way we like it, for over 100 years. Roca, there for you.
Next, it's the award for new build properties, sponsored by Roca. And on this shortlist, Conrad, Washington, D.C. Manhattan, Greenport, Long Island, New York. The Times Square edition, Manhattan, the first of two in this category from the Marriott brand, this one by Jabu Puschelberg. And the West Hollywood edition, Los Angeles, by John Pawson. And here, the judges saw the winner as absolutely charming, with a style that is timeless and layered. Here's Roca's Jorge Torres to reveal the winner.
And the winner is the Manhattan. Congratulations to the Manhattan.
The judges commended the Manhattan, saying in a world of heavy-build, big-box hotels, this was a fresh little jewel. A really consistent narrative pulls together a great variety of relaxed and formal, traditional and contemporary spaces. The hotel has a warmth and serenity that are unusual for a new-build hotel, one they said that will age well.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Kristen, and we're the owners of the Manhattan Hotel in Greenport, New York. We're honored to be a finalist in the Ahead America's New Build category and in such good company. This award is important to us because it recognizes the hard work and fine detail that went into creating this property from the ground up.
We're grateful to see that the sacrifices and the risks that we made as a family and as a team have paid off. We're a small business in a small community, and this win would be for all of us. Thank you.
Hotel New Build winner, the Manhattan, Greenport. Our fourth and last award in this first section of awards is for Best Hotel Conversion and is sponsored by Tucci. And the conversion projects on the shortlist are Escondido, Oaxaca, Mexico. Good to see Grupo Habita in the mix. Maison de la Luz, New Orleans. Shinola Hotel, Detroit. And Sister City, New York, the second Italia Ace property in this category. The winning entry here offered simplicity and warmth, a breath of fresh air for the hotel world. And to reveal who's claiming this award, Tucci's Patrick Troy.
And the winner is Escondido, Oaxaca. Congratulations.
Thank you, Patrick, and congratulations to Grupo Habita with Escondido, Oaxaca. Indigenous crafts and materials really capture the spirit of Oaxaca, giving the property true authenticity, said the judges. They highlighted Grupo Habita's boldness to work with new designers. Here, architects TAX and interior designers Decada seamlessly married a brutalist tower with a traditional 19th century house to create this boutique hotel.
Thank you, Ahead Awards and Sleeper Magazine. Grupo Habita feels really honored to receive this recognition. We hope to see you soon, all of you in Mexico, and specifically in Oaxaca. Come and enjoy Hotel Escondido. Gracias.
Hotel conversion winner, Escondido, Oaxaca, Mexico. Well, that's it for part one of Ahead Americas 2020. Thank you for being with us. And don't forget to post your comments on social. Congratulations to our first 4 winners. Huge thanks to all our supporters and sponsors. We'll be back here online to reveal our next set of winners. So from me, it's ciao for now.
Tucci's trying to convey through what we do, through our art, a sense of comfort, luxury, performance, and that's the foundation of what our company is built on. It's not just a pretty element, but it's designed to endure the harshest environments. Everything that Tucci does is built to a marine grade standard. They are perfectly suited to be in a residential enclave or directly in an ocean front in a resort location.